You've got to perform at your A game, at your best. So we've got Huntsmen waiting right now for the winner of this match on the stage. Let's talk about Florida, though. Game fuel keys to victory for the Mutineers. Nameless, talk to me.
Yeah, they got to use that momentum from last night. They got a big win. We talked about Havoc, how he needed to step up. He absolutely did, and he was applying a lot of pressure. He dropped like 40 kills, and he had like 20-some deaths. So this guy was just all over the map, and that's what they need to do. They need to keep applying that pressure and bring it to London early on in the series.
They do indeed. And talking about bringing it to London, let's talk about the game fuel keys to victory for the Royal Ravens.
Yeah, keep up the consistency in hardpoint. They've been fantastic. They've been lights out in it, and they have 3 players in the top 10, actually in the top 6 KD for hardpoint. Rated has stepped up big time for these guys. You know, he hasn't been bad, but he's just ascended to another level in his last few hardpoints that he's played, and I'm excited to watch these guys go up against Mutineers again.
We're going to go straight to the quick scope presented by US Air Force right now. Look at these two teams back to back. Rich, talk to me about this. What are we seeing from here? Obviously, London Royal Ravens 15-13, 9-9 Florida Mutineers haven't had as many games as the Royal Ravens.
Yeah, but overall, I think the big idea that we're going to see is I don't like to necessarily just look at wins that you have in the tournament and not talk about different things like stylistic matchups. But when you look at the Ravens and what they were able to do with taking a game off of FaZe, FaZe has no style. They are right. They are correct with how they play. They are fantastic. And the fact that you see the Ravens take a win off of them, I think Ravens have a pretty convincing argument for being the 3rd best team in the entirety of the league as of right now.
Yep.
Indeed, and you've got your US Air Force maps and modes there just for your absolute honor to have and see what we're going to be having on the main stage. Now, Jess, actually, I was thinking, I had a thought there, talking about the amount of matches played and having a look at that ratio against each other. It's difficult. How does it feel to be Florida Mutineers when you haven't got as many reps in as maybe the London Royal Ravens? You can see that they have a lot of games under their belt, but does that affect any of these teams?
Probably not at this point. They've had a few games under their belt by now. They got a big win last night, so you know they have a win here in Atlanta, and now going up against this team, they can prove a point. But just looking at that bracket, Royal Ravens already beat these guys, and if you look at it outside of Empire, it's probably your top 4 teams that we're seeing in the semifinals here. If Ravens were to win this, you'd have Ravens, Huntsmen, FaZe, Røkkr. Like those are the teams that are top 4 right now, outside of Empire.
We had a lot of housekeeping to get through, but I totally I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think we're going to see a repeat of what we saw, and I also think we're going to see Ravens make a pretty good push throughout the remainder of this tournament.
I want to see them versus Huntsmen. That'd be nuts.
That would be nuts. We'll see. We'll see. If Mutineers can bring their A game to this and bring the best to the table, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to throw over to Benson and Chance right now. I'm hoping for more of those caster comms that we saw earlier from you boys.
Hopefully it's not stressful. Let's just say that. But thank you, Lottie. Thank you to the guys on the desk. One thing I do want to quickly touch on is the maps and modes. We have a couple of maps coming back from the series that we've already seen these 2 teams play.
Yeah, London got the repeat yesterday. They just destroyed them in both the hard points. We start on St. Petra. We saw them yesterday. They beat them by 137 points. So you have to imagine London should start off strong. And then if we go to that game number 5, London beat them 6-2 on Gunner yesterday, which maybe is better for Florida now they've seen they know what they can expect. So maybe it'll be a little bit better, but you still have to be fearful if you're a Florida fan.
You definitely do. Without further ado, the next game on the main stage. I'm excited. It's the first time we've had a chance to cast them all season. Introducing the London Royal Ravens.
He's too bloody strong. One of the best players in the world.
Again, Scraps has got his number.
Beautiful read from what's good.
As we said, so excited to be casting London Royal Ravens for the very first time, but their opponents, it's the Florida Mutineers.
Thousands and thousands of hours of hard work lead to this moment.
The Mutineers will go in with a small lead. The Mutineers will have the advantage.
Now they're on your point. Look how close it is, Joe! A millimeter!
What a round! What a round!
Could not be more excited. As we said, a repeat of a game we saw yesterday. Will the outcome be the same? Or maybe that late night victory for Florida Mutineers, is that enough to maybe give them momentum and the belief that they can win here and advance into the semifinals?
I certainly hope so. I mean, especially for the Mutineers right now. We've already talked about the game plan. The hard points have been a struggle point for them. So
yes,
it's going to be a tough map one, but for them looking forward, that means when they are game planning for the day, it is you are pouring your heart and soul, everything into those search and destroys, making sure that, like, we saw some cheese strats, if you want to call them that, from Havoc yesterday, pulling out some creative stuff on Arc Lob. We're going to need even more of that then.
Definitely will. St. Petro, map number 1. For London Royal Ravens, they've had a very interesting season so far. Wuskin, the star performer, without any doubt. He really has been that good. The MVP chants that we heard in London, and just the love and affection he had for all those fans. I know London wants to come out strong here in Atlanta.
And Wuskin deserves all the credit in the world because he has kept up the same pace he's put on, but Scraps has really stepped it up from this weekend, it seems, as well. He's been pumping the numbers up, and then Dylan as well has been right there with him. So the supporting cast right now for Wuskins has been doing quite a bit better. Obviously, this is the time where they have to kick it up another notch as well.
On the other side of the story here for Florida Mutineers is Prestini. Obviously, he makes massive plays at the end of the OpTic Gaming LA series yesterday in the halfway, but he's had a couple of slow starts. And interestingly enough, he himself has gone out on Twitter and said, I'm not playing at my full potential. I know I can improve. I know I need to step up. So look for that kind of performance really here against London Royal Ravens.
And Prestini really has been the difference maker for his team. You can actually go and look at all his stats. When he's performing well, the team is getting the wins. When he's not performing, at least in the respawns, when he's not doing well, the team is taking the L. So keep just an eye on the back pocket. See how Prestini's doing. Keep track of him throughout the game, and that should be a metric of success for the team.
And actually, this is a really important rotation going down for the second hill. Havoc does spot Dylan, but little does he know he's going to have a couple of London players hunting him down. They were not going to let him get anything out of that early rotation. Of course, it is Florida with the sizable advantage, but London ready and waiting on the rotation to the second hill.
You got all the Ravens in the back having a little bird party, but now it's going to be Florida that's forced to cut through the middle of the map, try to push up through the left side. That's why Havoc is using the smokes to make it as confusing as possible. Not the smokes, the hip fire too. Good Lord, what a kill.
And it's worth mentioning he was a playmaker yesterday for Florida Mutineers. He's kicked things up here at 3-3. It's Mox with the hot start at 5-2 as Florida try and break into the second hill. The contest comes through. It's left by Frosty. There's one. There's two. Rated will fall. Florida break the hill.
And that was really just beautiful work we just saw. We took the time to see the smokes come in from Havoc. He works his way to start blocking those spawns. As soon as those spawns are blocked, that makes Frosty's job easier. He knows he only has to look one direction, and now he can go and pick up all the kills.
Keep your eye on that minimap. Number 9. That's going to be Rated. He says, no, don't even want to fight for the final 30 seconds of this hill. I'm going to rotate for P3, get deep at the back of the map, make sure we're ready and waiting for the new hill. And as you can see, London Royal Ravens have all control. They just need to make sure they're watching that rotation through P1 on the bottom side of the map. A couple of red arrows. We'll have to make sure they don't allow anyone from Florida to sneak through. Jared may actually be the first player from London to have that fight. If he turns around quick enough, there's going to be the first, but he should know that there's many, many more players there. Prestini turns, he finds that fight. Rated could be in a spot of bother.
And this is actually potentially a bit problematic for the Ravens. Not only is Frosty and Prestini in the back, but you see the Ravens, every single player is going to spawn there, which, yes, it's a close spawn, but they got to worry about just getting spawn killed relentlessly because now they're going to be spawning in the back. But if you have Florida Mutineers in control of this hill, this is going to set the Mutineers up for the rotation anew. So this is a big moment for Florida. They can get a ton of time and a massive lead for themselves.
Still inside the hill, Havoc contested. Skies wants to try and rotate back. Prestini will find one. Turns and burns Rated, but the spawns eventually pay dividends. London retake control of the hill with 17 seconds left. Still the lead in Florida's favor, 76-30 as things stand.
And this is a hill. I don't think a lot of teams have really figured out the best way to play it yet, because again, the Ravens went out of their way to try to secure those back spawns, but when it turns into the hill itself, about the 50-50 split, but unless Dylan does something crazy, Florida, they're going to be poised up in pool hall, and this is a hill where you can get a real full 60 on it, so Dylan's going to have to wait for his teammates to start picking up a couple kills to make a play. But again, Florida in a fantastic spot right now.
Love this from Dylan, though. Being sneaky in his rotation around. He'll find the first. Now can he find anything else? He's waiting for his teammates to pinch in on the hill. Where will Florida spawn? Well, I think that kill came in quick enough to allow Florida to still spawn deep. Meanwhile, Ravens, they're going to spawn over towards P1. The pinch again comes through. Havoc shut down. It's still enough spawn. Flew straight inside. Skies will drop. And London Yes, they're inside the hill, but they don't really have much control, and the score for Florida is starting to get a little out of hand, Chet. 107-37. It doesn't look like a team that's been struggling in hardpoint.
Not at all, and this is a game that could have been a lot worse. The Ravens actually, again, 2 hills where each team that doesn't win the rotation doing a pretty nice job of just kind of mitigating the damage, but it really just was that previous hill that Florida was able to accrue a bunch of time. Mox just hanging out inside the hill, not having to kill a ton of things, just make sure he gets that objective. Of course, though, the rotation to do, the question is, can Wuskin keep up his streak? He gets chopped down, but his teammates fall as well. Florida, again, the hot start is here.
It's about converting that hot start, though, into a map 1 win. Rated 1.2. Meanwhile, Alex just sitting inside the hill and no teammates to support. He's going to have to do this old-fashioned way all by himself. Tagged up multiple players but couldn't get the kills. Frostini, they're looking for the trade. A double for him as he springs into life. Mock's not able to trade. Jared with 2, and Jared almost with 3 before Frosty finds the kill. Rated there to support. But for London, it's about maybe just doing a little bit of damage, mitigation damage, kind of reduction, if you will, because Florida's first rotation chance has been very, very good.
Been on point. Florida still being annoying in and around the hill. Anytime the London Ravens might be able to get a bit of on, Florida, again, they're just being annoying this entire game. And they'll have an 80-point lead, which is pretty sizable. It'll take at least 2 or 3 hills for the Ravens to even potentially get back into this. The good news for them, they have the full spread across this new hard point. They have a ton of focus over towards Pool Hall, because you can see Florida already thinking in advance, trying to go on these massive flanks. And of course, well, Mox on the flip side. Now the flank did not pan out. You're going to have to go to the hill from the front.
I mean, I think it's actually Skies who's fighting from behind, and unfortunately for him, Dylan does hunt him down. But look at the spawn that comes through. Florida gifted the P2 spawn, and because of that, London have no idea. They're trying to push forward, thinking that potentially Florida will spawn over towards the 3rd hill. Little do they know, all of Florida now behind them.
At the same time, though, this is a lot of good time for Ravens as well. So Florida, they're going to need that spawn advantage for the next hill, because the time is not going their way. We talked about it maybe needing 2 or 3 hills to get back into this game, and Ravens, well, they try to do it with just 1. Havoc, though, trying to turn things around, make sure you slow the pace from the Ravens down, because Wuskin's, again, on a 5 streak, maybe starting to heat up just a little bit.
And that's so unfortunate for London Royal Ravens, showing just how fragile the spawns really can be in hardpoint. Now, though, have to try and break the early Florida setup. The rotation comes in now, but it's the kills that follow which are going to be so, so important. If Wuskin potentially pick up the cross, that'd be massive. He'll find a second. I'm not sure what Prestini was doing. He won't find the second. Prestini just somehow gets the kill. Not sure where he was looking for Wuskin, though. That a little more scary than it probably should have been. Skies also trying to push inside the hill now for Florida, as the lead definitely nowhere near as large as it once was, but still, it's Florida with control.
Florida going to need to get pretty much all of this remaining time. The next 30 seconds need to go their way, because the Ravens are already setting up for that new rotation, which, again, we talked about that 3rd hill. It's a delicate balance. You don't want to end up spawning all the way in that deep back pocket for too long, so the Ravens are pouring a ton of pressure onto this old hill.
And they actually may have just missed Mox. Mox has got right through the middle of London Royal Ravens, and Jared's going to have no idea. He assumed mid-map was completely fine, completely cleared by his opponent or by his teammates, and now Mox puts himself in a great little spot to maybe cause a little bit of chaos as we rotate to the 3rd hill.
And Mox knows it, though. Mox knows his teammates are nowhere near him. Like, if he goes now, he's going to get a kill, maybe 2, but he's going to get traded out. You get effectively nothing. He needs his teammates to be here and ready, and now you see the kill feed. They're starting to pick up a few. He's going to be ready to make his move.
Such an intelligent play, but I don't think he really wanted to take that fight as quickly as he had to. Jared forces the fight. Now Mox really with no choice. His teammates are there. The contest comes through. He should know exactly where Wuskin is going to be. The pre-fire, but Wuskin still somehow wins the fight. Prestini was instant to trade, and Prestini inside the hill now, looking to do so much damage. There's 3 in a row for Prestini. 22 and 22 he sits.
And nice plays from Mox as well. Again, it was set up for quite some time, and even though it doesn't win the gunfight, it was his teammates that he waited for to make sure that the play was going to be successful. So 60-point lead now. It's going to jump up to just about 80 on the rotation. It is now to the point of the game where Ravens, they're going to have to be damn near perfect. And when Prestini shooting like that, how are you going to pull it off, Ben?
Okay. Couple of body shots. That's fine. That's fine. He's playing well. He's entitled to do just that. As we rotate back now to Pool Hall for London, you basically have to be perfect on this hill just to reduce the deficit that has been earned here for Florida Mutineers. 203, 145. 45 seconds left on this hill. Prestini's not done yet, keeping the streak alive. Waiting patiently. Of course, teammates will be coming to assist. He's not missing. Prestini, stop it! Trophy out as well He may not even need it. The man is on a rampage. As the Ravens keep flying in towards him, Prestini keeps shutting them down.
Prestini on the 9 spree, looking for double digits that might just come straight through the door. There's number 10, topping himself off towards the end. Turns around, you know he wins the gunfight, Ben. You talked about the difference maker on the team, the man that needs to have the hot hand, Prestini provides.
I mean, Skies was on a 7 streak there as well, but it's Prestini an 11 streak. We talked about how important it is that he plays well for Florida. He himself saying he's been underperforming. Well, this is the performance you expect to see. 13, almost 14 before finally falling. But Prestini just went on one hell of a run.
Same game, but it's not over yet. The Ravens still are trying to fight tooth and nail as much as they have to deal with Prestini. They're not doing a terrible job, at least on the rotation of Restaurant, but even then, they can't get through. Prestini, the final man, he was able to find 2 kills. He gets the 3rd as well. He goes on a 13, dives, respawns, trying to do it once again.
Florida can end it here. London must flood the hill, must contest, and for them at least, must retake control. Prestini's not slowing down. Another double, but teammates not in a position to trade, or are they? Mox will fall as well. Jurg just trying to be a nuisance. Still, Florida in the hill. They can no longer win it here. We will at least see another rotation. As you can see, London Royal Ravens ready and waiting. The problem is the deficit now is massive. There's surely no way Florida let this game slip.
I mean, this is the point where in my mind it's basically impossible in Florida inside the hill right now. They're having to deal with the world champion form of Prestini, trying to pull it out of the bag. Now you got Mox in the hill trying to put the stamp on the game. 249, 250 in the Florida Mutineers. Kicking off their day with a clean hardpoint win.
Hey, if Prestini's playing like that, today could get very,
That's
very
that world champ
interesting.
form, man.
That was absolutely incredible. A 13 streak. Skies goes on a 7 at the same time, and it's important to note that that was such an important part of the game for him to do that, because it was the moment where potentially London could have come back. Prestini shuts it down.
And that is a massive turnaround as well, because keep in mind, they played this map yesterday. London destroyed them on it. It was like a 137-point win. And then Prestini says, thank you very much. I'll just go and drop 38. And again, we talked about him. The key man, if they're going to have success in respawns, he has to perform well. He did that and then some. I mean, this is the best he's looked since last year. He's great.
Let's take a look at the Scuff Gaming play of the game. I mean, really, there can only be one, can't there? Prestini, an absolute animal. It's funny because not only does he fight for the scrap time, he wins all of these gunfights, he picks up the scrap time, and then you're thinking, okay, well, what else can be done? A couple of love taps here and there, but he actually rotates all the way across the map, Chance, and then starts popping up on Pool Hill as well.
It just doesn't stop. And again, smart plays as well, just pure gun skill as well. Like later on in this clip, it's, what do we see? He's one shot, then he challenges Dirt underneath the pool table, and he just drops. Like the movement is clean, the shots are clean, everything right there was on point. This is the most cracked out he's been, and again, perfect movement. Takes his time, baits out his teammate and says, well, I need to regenerate just a little bit. And then this kill right here is where I was like, oh, Jurg. Oh, Jurg, come on, man. I know you got Seeker's advantage, but that is tough. There's nothing you could do. There was nothing you could do.
This might be the best play of the game we've had all season. Prestini, again, he wrote the story himself, coming out on social media saying, I know I need to be better, and I will be better. And that is the performance we absolutely love to see from the world champ. I mean, he just didn't slow down, Chance.
Didn't slow down at all. It's just every single gunfight towards the end, you're just expecting him to win that. And now the question is, you got to make sure you still carry that momentum into map number 2, Ben.
Yes, yes, you most definitely do. It's going to be that social short, which is going to be so important. But it's a great start for Florida, right? We've already seen this game happen once, and it was London Royal Ravens that took it 3-1. Florida off to a much better start. And speaking of Florida, of course, we've already seen the clip several times of me mainly freaking out and you kind of bringing me back to earth with the draw that happened yesterday in the Florida game. But what was very interesting is, if you watch that clip, and you pointed this out, there's some similarities to something that happened last year as well. Let's take a look.
They're spawning P1. They have to push the hill. And they're united. They're finding all of the kills. A lightning strike for Clay. I can't believe what we're witnessing. Number 9, Cap is already rotated. They united. Are you serious right now? An unbelievable comeback. Down almost 100 points. Karma pushing into the hill. OpTic, they need to win the fight. Karma. Grab. Oh my God. What was that?
we've been known to have some moments, Chance.
Yeah.
Just a few. It's a smile that gets me, man. It's a smile. The best part is, if you actually played that clip and the clip from yesterday at the same time, you smile at exactly the same. It syncs up perfectly. It's just a majestic. It's a beautiful smile.
The part about I hate the zoom on that, because I think when you match up those two clips, your movement is the exact same as well. When you're casting, just freaking out, spinning in circles, like hands on the knees, going the whole 9 yards. Like, there's more than that. I hate the zoom on my face, man. I never want to see that clip again.
Well,
you're gonna have to though at some point.
Almost 1 million views, so
I know.
Unlucky. Either way, it's a fun time. We have a blast calling all of the action here at the Call of Duty League. We have for quite some time, and nothing has changed this year. We've had some fantastic games already, but we move on. Onwards in the series, we now head to an Arklov Peak Search and Destroy. Game 2, Florida give themselves a big cushion.
And again, they just played out of their minds on the map number 1, but in my mind, their focus should have been on the Search and Destroys coming into the series based on how they did against London yesterday. This is an Arklov Peak where London, they're 0-2 on it. Like, this is a great map for Florida to get right out of the gate, because obviously Florida, are 1-1. We saw them play yesterday against OpTic Gaming. A ton of great plays coming in from Havoc, just an overall dominant performance coming in from Frosty. They need to keep that pace up.
So I'm actually curious to see, in Florida's first defensive round, do they try and repeat that again? Is that maybe just a round one? I mean,
in case you don't know what we're talking about, Havoc just threw a smoke into pit, ran straight through it, and stood behind the entire team of OpTic. I don't think we'll see a strat like that come in again, at least for a few more months, if we see it again this year.
Or potentially, do they have something else cooked up that maybe they could do? Either way, first blood comes in, and it's Prestini. He's continuing with the hot start. So already the advantage for Florida Mutineers.
And something actually we've seen the Ravens try on this map before is the double sniper setup where, well, we saw Dylan off the rip. Prestini again just continues, says thank you very much. He's not losing these gunfights even to the snipe. Nice and easy first blood for him. Now with the smokes, they might be thinking about a little wrap towards B.
Well, they still have some time. 40 seconds on the clock, and yep, that wrap is going to come through, and I think Wuskin is going to get all the information. He's missed 2 snipes, though, but Scraps is there. He'll find 1. He actually finds 2. Finally, he will fall. Prestini left to trade. He spotted out Jerd, and in current form, you'd fancy his chances to win that, but Jerd shuts him down. Now you have yourself 2 versus 3. An advantage to London Royal Ravens. Very much 15 seconds. You've got to plant the bomb. Rated knows where bomb is. This is a round which simply cannot be won now by Florida Mutineers, as long as London Royal Ravens don't just needlessly run towards them, and just that happens. London Royal Ravens 1-0 up.
And that's big. That's a big round from the Ravens. I mean, you kick off with the first blood at the A site. At that point, you only have 2 players that are even there for defending, and Florida says, well, we'll try to rotate it out. And Scraps, you saw him spotted out from top window. He noticed Prestini, and unfortunately, obviously, we didn't get to see it, but makes the big play, picks up 2 massive kills, and just opens up the round for his team. And let's Ravens get that first one on defense.
And obviously, you talked a little bit about, this map specifically, just to give you some stats and then maybe a bit more backstory to this map specifically. London 0-2. They lost 6-4 against Paris. They lost 6-5 against New York. For Florida, different story. 6-4 loss against, of course, LA Gorillas, and a 6-5 win against their bitter rivals, OpTic Gaming LA. So just some backstory, which may help you understand a little bit more towards this map. But so far, London off to a good start.
Off to a good start. Now I get a bunch of players bunched up in the trenches, and Mox, he's going to spot their entire team at the same time. There's the first, and where's the trade? Dylan did manage to slide across, and Mox did not spot him. And Dylan, luckily for it, is going to be able to take him down and even things out.
Skies find 1. He pre-fires, but he knows the challenge is going to come through. Dylan will get 2. Quick succession. As the round starts to develop, London left with 3. Florida left with 3 as well. London must plant now. They have full site control, but it's Havoc once again being sneaky. They'll open the door, and of course, London should have heard that. So far, they don't want to react just yet.
I'm not sure that they did. They still have a good setup regardless, but I'm not sure they have the information. And while Havoc is pinching through mid, you can see the play from Florida. You send 1 guy from the front, that's Frosty. 1 guy all the way around back, that's Prestini. But you do not have a lot of time on the clock, and now Wuskin has the first blood, and that makes it so much more difficult. Now Frosty loses the gunfight to Rated, and Prestini by himself. There's nothing he can do.
If Frosty stays alive just a little bit longer, maybe this was a chance for Prestini to hit that flank a little quicker with just 10 seconds left. There's surely no way. London with the advantage, 2-0 up now in game 2.
And a couple key points about that round. 1, towards the end, Florida, they just like set up a play that you don't realistically have that much time. It's a good play to send someone all the way around back, but I mean, it's tough in a 3v4 anyway, regardless, but still, you would have to win every single gunfight at the exact same time, flood in. Everything would have to go absolutely perfectly. But then, of course, at the start as well, it was really that just taking down Mox. Mox found that big first blood, and again, the first bloods, Ravens haven't been getting them, but they've been making up for it, someone making the big play.
More and more so far on this map, we've seen B-bomb targeted. Not going to be the case this round. As Florida opt to maybe play a little more traditional over towards A. Preston with sniper in hand. He's not going to spot anything outer. It's going to be his teammates that try and push forward. Dylan will find one, but doesn't even get the kill. Prestini actually gets the snipe. Dylan a little overzealous there as he searched for the first blood. Because of that, it's now enabled Frosty to push straight forward, but Rated will level the playing field. 4 versus 4.
Yeah, Frosty just not quite ready for that gunfight. He just gets dropped by Rated. And despite the good snipes, now you're back to a stalemate situation on the map.
Ooh, Prestini actually may have just got that information and spotted out one. I think it was Rated.
And he did see him for Havoc. I was going to say, what can you do? You got an MP5, and there's so many head glitches you have to deal with. And another round. But Florida's getting the first blood and struggling to convert. Sky's trying to make something happen mid-map, but again, time on the clock. They have to get the bomb down so fast. Now Wuskin's finding kills. It is almost a hopeless situation. Bar some insanity, and any potential insanity is going to fall right there.
That timing, and oh, doesn't that just play out? Wuskin will find Skies. Prestini for the trade. This for a 1 versus 4 clutch. There's still 3 alive. He'll make it 2. No time on the clock, though, so unfortunately, if you're a Florida fan, no way you win that round. 3-0, now the advantage to London.
Jared making me a little bit nervous. Not for the round, but just a little. Just in general. But hey, you got the win. But it's worth pointing out, 3 for 3 with first bloods right now from the Mutineers. 0 for 3 on the conversion. They are struggling, and they are just at times. I mean, it looked like to me that last round, Frosty just kind of throwing away his life. Like, he gets to a good spot. Obviously, he gets spotted. He goes for the instant challenge. And you just have Rated. That's what he loves to do. Pre-aim with an AR. Just no hope of winning that gunfight.
Big difference. This map had an 0-3 start. Frosty 0-3 start as well. Both of those making plays late last night on this exact map. Prestini is carrying the slack though. Credit where credit is due. A 6-2 start for him. On the other side, Rated still yet to die. 3-0.
That bottom is going
Does he
down.
know? I assume he knows. Well, he does now. There's actually going to be 2 players there. The pistol, is it going to be good enough? Prestini! Another double! Havoc also shuts down Dylan. So despite bomb down, I guess the question is, where are you post-plant? Well, Wuskin has the snipe out. Wuskin, he's managed to find Frosty as well. That was the player that jumped on bomb. Wuskin has to be challenged. Havoc searches him out, but Rated, they've no idea. They've no idea. Can he find 2? Almost. Mox with the kill. Plenty of time. The defuse will come through after both players get a little closer towards their dead silence.
Another round where Florida making me just a little bit nervous at times, but either way, it's Prestini. You get the 2 big kills with the pistol. He definitely knew that the players were in there planting the bomb. He heard them. He knew something was going on. He's got a pistol. He needs to wait for his teammates. It works out perfectly. You find those 2 big kills, and then Wuskin's shooting people through the smoke. Made things a little bit interesting, but again, the job was done at the start of the round. A nice bounce back round for the Mutineers.
Great post-plant positioning as well, of course, for Wuskin. Had perfect line of sight of exactly where the bomb was planted. Almost worked out. Still, Frosty 0-4 to start, but Prestini, the man of the moment, the man of the morning for me. 8-3 after that very important double last round. Frosty, as we currently watch Donut Cam, not really going to be up to much. It's going to be Prestini once again, who might find first blood. No, he'll pass up on that opportunity. Rotate maybe over towards his teammates.
Yeah, that player, as soon as he sees that sniper rifle, never going to peek that angle again.
You see the light, you're like, no.
No, thank you. I'm okay.
I'm good.
I got other things to do. I can defend B from everywhere, but now the pushes come in, you hear the smokes out, Rated, trying to keep him at bay. Meanwhile, Wuskins is wrapping back to try to get some snipes.
Yeah, Wuskin's going to find a great line of sight, but Dylan actually finds himself 2. He hit mid-cut. Jared will also find 1, so the push from Florida has just been completely shut down. Skies is going to be left in a horrible little spot. You know, there's players all around him. Wuskin's up top. He's not going to miss that snipe. Frosty, well, can you at least maybe find a kill? No. No, you can't.
Pretty quick round. It was slow until it wasn't. Florida decided to make move, and they gave London Ravens just enough time to get everyone in the positions they wanted to be in, and then the Ravens chopped them down and make it look easy. Mutineers are struggling to get anything going. They've been getting dominated so far in this game.
They have not been pretty at all. Even when they have those advantages, you kind of called out earlier on, First Bloods, not converting that into round wins as you would hope if you're a Florida Mutineer fan. Quick glance at our overhead map, and once again, you'll see the strategy. Seems like it's going to be another A push. Very A dominant so far this game.
A dominant indeed, and Wuskins, well, he's been on point with the sniper rifle so far, 7-3. Nothing coming down the alley yet. It's going to be Dylan. There's the aggression coming in from the Mutineers, but the kills might just be for the Ravens. Wuskins, though, doesn't connect with the snipe, but regardless, they still have the man advantage. And it was a nice attempt by Florida, but it's just going to get stuffed, and now Wuskin finds the next snipe, and now this is just falling apart at the seams for Florida. Now you can see the bomb getting rotated out, and Florida, I mean, what do you do in this situation? It's a 2 versus 4. The bomb's going to be planted at B. You have to retake with only 2 guys. Almost impossible.
Bomb planted. Florida will be rotating. It's just now about you need to win 2 gunfights relatively quickly. Skies knows Wuskin, his post-plant position, he's going to be top blue, and he's read it. It's just not been able to find the kill, and the challenge will come elsewhere. Skies has done well to stay alive, pulls out the knife. Nothing will come from that. As Prestini left now for another 1v3, and that, to me, the story of this map. Prestini trying to do it all, just unsuccessfully.
This is just dominance coming in from the Ravens, and that's a strat that I was there for it. I was happy. I was excited. Florida trying to mix things up just a little bit, play aggressive on the guy in trench. I mean, you triple team the first guy. It should be the free first blood. And even if Wuskins hits a snipe, I was thinking you could trade him out, but a nade come in over top from someone from the Ravens and just stuffs the push. And then, of course, you got Frosty. You know, 0-6, not ideal.
Almost doing his best James Bond impression.
It very well may be the case.
We'll see. Prestini, again, playing very, very well throughout the day, but doesn't matter. You're losing. As Wuskin won't hit that snipe. Havoc finds himself a first blood. Frosty, well, welcome to the 007 club, my friend. It's not pretty at all. As Prestini tries to make something happen over towards B, that's not going to work. And London have led from the very beginning, Chance, and it looks like they're going to close it out here.
For Frosty, the sky has fallen. Maybe some Royal Ravens, Royal Casinos in his future. Who knows what's going to be going on, but...
Should have just left it at the first one.
Left it at the first one is too good? Well,
Skyfall, it was good.
We have so much time in this round to watch Florida fall apart and get picked off 1 by 1. Or clutch up. You never know. They do have clearance over towards A. They might be able to get the bomb down. They are going to have to deal with Wuskin's up top with the sniper still, but there's hope.
Yeah, I was going to say the clearance is maybe there, but you do have to deal with Wuskin, who I think, yep, he got that information, and he'll count across as just 1 for now. We'll spot out Havoc, though. The teammates shoot him in the back. Skies trying to find the kill with just 20 seconds left. Skies and Havoc need a miracle. Wuskin has fallen. Havoc drops. It all came down to 1, and London will convincingly cruise through game 2. If you had any doubts after game 1, there's a hell of a way to respond.
I'll take hopeless situations for 1,000, Ben. That was as good as it could possibly get from the Ravens. It was, what, the double pistol kill from Persini at the bottom. Like, how many times is something like that going to happen? But a great first game from Florida. An amazing bounce-back game for the Ravens, Ben. Looks like we might have a potential Game 5 series on our hands.
Maybe. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. A quick glance at the stats, and for London, it was fantastic. 8-5 is Wuskin, 7-5 is Dylan, 6-4 Scraps, rated with a fantastic game at 5-1. Judd double positive as well at 6-3. Really, when you look at Florida, the only standout performance, well, there was 2, I guess. The positives was Prestini, 9-6. The negative, Frosty, 0-7. Series currently tied at 1-1. London Royal Ravens versus Florida Mutineers will be back with game number 3 after this.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day with the #1 brand in prepaid. Well, hello again, YouTube, and hello, Atlanta. We are, of course, here at the Call of Duty League, and we're back at it again on the floor right now in front of a very, very big crowd. But I'm also here with very special guests who've traveled very, very far to be here today. Logan, so lovely to have you. Now, I have heard that you were on a bus for 17 hours to be here. Talk to me about that journey.
It wasn't fun, but it was worth it, and I got to wake up at 6:30 to leave on Monday for another 17-hour journey home. But I love being here, and it's a blast.
Oh my goodness, come on guys, we need to give this guy a round of applause. That is unbelievable stuff. You might be the most committed guy right now in this audience here, and I'm obviously having a little look at the merch you're repping and your hat, so talk to me about your team and who you're here to support.
Definitely FaZe Clan. I met them all yesterday, and they're all super good people, and they're very good, and I think it's a 3-1 finals for Chicago.
Amazing stuff. Now, talk to me about FaZe and how they've been performing. Have you been really happy with what they've been doing on the stage? They've been pretty dominant, right?
Yes, they have. I think they're just the best team in the league, without a doubt. They learn the game the fastest, and they're just going to dominate everyone for now.
Amazing stuff. Now, I've just got to ask you a question. So, who knows you're here today? Do your parents know you're here? Do they know you traveled all the way here?
Yes, they weren't very happy, but I said I've been waiting for 4 years to come to an event, so I had to come.
There we go. Mum, Dad, he's made it. He's made it onto YouTube, by the way, and he's definitely got a massive round of applause. One more time, guys. Come on. For Logan. For Logan. Now, here at CDL and Atlanta FaZe really appreciate the effort you've gone through to be here today. So they put together a swag bag for you so that you can add to your collection and to keep supporting FaZe as much as you want to. But we really appreciate you, Logan, for coming here today. So guys, one more round of applause, please, for this incredible man. We're actually going to talk right now to Benson and to Chance. Let's talk about this next game.
I'm going to be honest. We love that type of support here at the COD League, that's for sure. 17 hours, but
that's a long drive.
That's a long drive. Hey, at least you have some new clothes.
That's across like 4 Englands.
Some new swag to wear on the way back, at least, right? It's a very, very long journey. But again, shout out Logan. We appreciate that support. And kind of moving forward, I want to just take a quick look back at exactly what we saw in Game 2. We'll take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. Really, it was a very, very simple search and destroy for London. There was a lot of rounds where, yes, maybe you could say First Bloods went for Florida, but London just closed it out.
I was going to say, if anything, it would be like an untactical play, right? Or at least like an untactical game. I think it was 6-1 for the First Bloods in favor of Florida, who, if you paid attention, lost 6-1. So like they're getting all the First Bloods, they're having no success with it, and that is vastly different from what they looked like yesterday against OpTic. So I guess Ravens, again, sometimes they're on the double sniper setup. I think we only saw it 1 round, but they just brought something different to the table that Florida was not prepared for.
A concerning game, too. I think that's fair to say for Florida Mutineers. But looking forward now, heading into game number 3, we go to Domination. Once again, Chance, any jump-out numbers for you?
I mean, it's one of the repeat maps we've had. Obviously, like map number 1, St. Petro Hardpoint. London actually smoked Florida on it yesterday. Difference maker in the first map we saw this series was Pristini. Just to put it shortly, dropped 38 kills, had a massive performance. But yesterday, they beat him by about 20 points on it. Nice little win against London. But still, Pristini needs to keep up that production and maybe even more if Frosty's not really going to help him out too much.
Yeah. 0-7 performance from him in that game, too, as we wait for game number 3 to get underway. Again, if you are just tuning in, the series currently tied 1 map apiece between London Royal Ravens and the Florida Mutineers. And when you talk about players to really stand out in Domination, is there anyone specifically you look for in this series?
Well, so, okay, you mentioned standout players, and there's a lot of, like, obvious answers. Like, Dylan's not a terrible one, obviously, with the 9 captures per game from the side of Ravens. Obviously, you can talk about Wuskins all day, every day, because he's been fantastic. Sure. But I'm actually having my eye on Rated. We watched Rated yesterday on St. Petro. He was actually going off at times. I think he was against the Atlanta FaZe as well. That's the one win right now that the Ravens have on St. Petrograd Domination is against Atlanta of all teams. So Dylan's a great guy to look at.
Pretty good.
In the back of my mind, it's got to be Rated as well.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good team to beat, right? If you're going to beat anyone, Atlanta FaZe, we know how good they could be, but it definitely seems like their weak point is Domination. So for London, can they come out and give themselves the advantage once again in this series? Of course, you're playing here for your lives. Win and you stay and advance into the winner's bracket. You lose and you go home, Chance.
lose and you go home, and this would be a bitter defeat because you think about like the CDL points for these teams as well. Ravens, not in a bad spot, completely respectable, but obviously they're going to want more because they want to be at minimum in that top 4 range for them to be comfortable. And the Mutineers, still, they started at the bottom, obviously because they were not at this past event. Yeah, only 20 points now, but if you get that next jump, you get those extra 10 points, and you're well on your way to even more, and that'll be a nice surge for them in the series.
Could be worse. Could be OpTic Gaming LA, still 0 points to
Not
their
ideal.
name.
Not ideal.
Yeah, not been good. And we'll take a quick glance at our bracket to see how things have played out. Of course, our top semi-final will be FaZe versus Røkkr. Huntsmen, while they await the winner of this next game, Royal Ravens versus Mutineers. I honestly don't know which one I kind of prefer. Probably Royal Ravens. I think that could be a great game against the Huntsmen.
I will say, though, I mean, the Mutineers have been on a tier. You have a world champ on this team who's been looking pretty good.
As long as he plays like that,
yeah,
right?
No, yeah, if he keeps his level up and Frosty again, just maybe finds 1 or 2 kills and search and destroy, like, there is absolutely potential. I will say, like, Ravens overall, in my mind, have looked like a more consistently, like, good team in comparison to Florida.
That's fair.
But Florida also seemed to be, like, a little bit on the climb. Like, we had a break week for them. We've watched Ravens play, like, twice as much Call of Duty because they have an extra 4 matches that they've played. So Florida, we're still trying to feel this team out. We're still waiting for that dust to sort of settle so we know exactly where they're going to fall.
Of course, late last night, this was the same map that we saw Florida Mutineers basically win a draw. Right? It was
they won the draw.
Very, very close game. The extra tick counts. Florida won it. Will we have another close game on our hands? Well, we sure hope so. Game underway. Map number 3. And we're going to start off. The man on fire this series has to be Frostini.
He's taking the long route as well, which means if you're going the long route, you need to be able to find some kills. Fortunately for him, there's going to be some ARs in the back. He makes the read, but Wuskin wins the gunfight, and that was the second one Wuskins picks up as well, so very quick and early advantage to the Ravens.
And that just shows you the intent Florida had there on just trying to flip the map. C-Flag definitely the more favorable home hill to hold. He still remains neutral. Both teams just capping up their respective home flags. Florida do have control of B for now, but they're in a position to maybe jump it. Still, the decap comes through. Tied game, everyone fighting for control of the mid-neutral.
There's a ton of Ravens players right now coming through the train tracks, and they're going to be able to double or maybe even triple stack this flag, so B should just outright go their way. They're going to secure it, and they just got all the kills as well, and this is a big moment for the Ravens. Now you can get all the map control in the world. You're going to have right now Wuskins on the map. He's going to play on the far left side just to keep those back home spawns for as long as possible. It is all the MP5's job. Get in this top building, roam around, and slay.
Oh, a good start for London Royal Ravens. They lock in the 2-1 flag advantage and a small lead to go as well. I want to head over to an Astro Gaming listening with the London Royal Ravens.
Even there. We can be. You got need, you got need. In a B. Can be flag, one down. We can be, we can be.
Ambo.
One more B.
Ambo, one shot, line.
He's front house man, guys. Line down front house man. He's on there.
Lay down line.
Stop left.
B. Push him on the stairs. Get to left, drop off C. Beg it.
Oh, two beat on. One beat on to front hazmat.
I've got C.
One's on the right, maybe.
2 mid trash. Mid-trash. He's cutting C. He's cutting P1. C cut. Lion, have it, Mini.
Don't see him, C cut. He's in the back of C. Mox. He went deep roof.
Go try and kill like a.
Mox.
I'm on hazmat in the corner. It's on anything at the back.
I spawn back.
Mid-tunnel. He went front hazmat, right side. Right side front hazmat. He's in that room, you in.
He's not in the room.
Line.
20 P1 still.
Deep in bridge.
One shot. He's front hazmat, Pristine, front hazmat.
He's up on the C. Push the wall behind you.
Weak, man. Two there. One's got back wall. You've got stun map. Back wall.
Prestine's on the back wall.
Back to the action. Wuskin had a great start, 5-0, and we were just kind of laughing between ourselves there. The kills really came in the first few seconds of the round, and since then he just kind of parked the bus. But now we find ourselves in a situation where London control nothing. Florida have the lead as well, 10 points as it stands. But with AB locked in, this is looking like it could be a good half here for Florida Mutineers.
It is very strange to watch a team that has a player that's 4-0 deep into the game, not a ton of production, but that's just because he was basically responsible for C the entire time. And Florida, well, eventually, as soon as they got the B flag back, they haven't really let up. This is the one moment where Braided has gone for the neutralization of the flag. Not convinced he'll be able to get it, but actually the double stack will come in. The player in the top window didn't make a move quite fast enough. So the Ravens, nice little back down by 13 with 2 minutes left. They have enough time to retake the lead.
Judd was trying to put the pressure on the spawn for Florida. See if he could try and push A. Meanwhile, Straps is going to have to win this gunfight. It's against Prestini. Prestini wants no part of that just yet as he tries to quick flank scrap, because he's having none of it. So still London with control of 2 flags. B and C locked in. They've defended B. Now, the question for me is how much pressure do they want to put on A, or are they happy for a minute and a half to just control that 2-1 flag lead? Meanwhile, Florida's still spawning over towards P1. They've got to be careful they don't get spawn trap.
Unless Ravens get like a clean 4-5 down, I don't think they're going to make the push to A at all. Again, their job is just to slay as much as possible, be annoying in this building, and Dylan, that's exactly what he's trying to do. The player goes through the door, Mox takes the gunny, and Scraps is there for the trades. And again, Scraps just doing his job. This is all the Ravens want to have happen, is be annoying as possible in the base, and as soon as you get clearance, as soon as like someone from Florida actually pushes through to go to C, Rated says, all right, thank you very much, I'll do the same thing at A.
They absolutely had to. And, well, the neutral almost came through. C's being neutral as well now. Florida with all of the kills. This is getting scary for London. Just as they do everything right to come back into the game, everything goes against them. The final 40 seconds, and there's a trip cap currently being held by Florida as they look to build themselves at least a small lead heading into the second half. Prestini still being a nuisance. He shuts down Jerd. B still as well not currently controlled. And Prestini may get there quick enough. He'll find one. Surely finishes off the kill. About time, and this has been perfect from Florida to close out the first half.
And that's big as well. The Ravens, they had 4 or 5 bodies, pretty much their entire team around the B flag. And when all is said and done, the Florida Mutineers actually secure it. Now you're just fighting for the one final tick for the Ravens to get, or at least prevent on the A and B flags. But that is a very solid first half coming in from Florida.
I mean, we went from a 5-point game to almost a 20-point game there in the space of 30 seconds, and it just shows you how quick things can change in this game mode. And that was, of course, with London Royal Ravens spawning on what many consider the preferred side.
I was going to say, it's just an interesting setup as well. It's just right from the get-go. I mean, again, we see Wuskins is 4-0, 5-0, whatever it's going to be, but they're losing by a couple points, and then as soon as he dies, that just means all the pressure from Florida has made its way towards that C flag, and that's when things spiral out of control. Like, even in the Astro Gaming listening, we heard quite a few of the calls of like, hey, someone's going to C, make sure you get back to that. And this is while they don't have the A or B flag. There is so much importance on that home C flag from both of these teams that it can be dire.
Really can. 86-68 the score as we head into the second half. Straps, for now, will just be defending the B flag. Doesn't want to allow anyone from Florida to just try and sneak cap. Beneath the B. Meanwhile, Rated. Is he going to want to try and push through? Well, the problem for London Royal Raven is already a couple of players have fallen. So Scraps now even more important. He's going to feel the pressure, and unfortunately for him, he will fall. That now may open up the B flag for Florida.
I think Rated might just have to commit and go to B. He's actually not going to do it. He's looking for the player in the window. Now he makes the decision and gets Prestini off the flag in the nick of time, because 18-point lead, it's not a happy place to be in, but it's reasonable. You'll hold a 2-cap for a minute and a half. You're right back in the swing of things. You're happy and good to go, and you have time to work with. But if you give up a 2-cap for even a moment, which here it is, this is when things can start to get bad.
You have to spring into life as quickly as possible here if you're London. Try and go for the D-cap on B. The problem, the flank from Frosty is coming through. Jerd will find 2, and that kill feed just got very, very red. B now neutral. There's pressure coming in on the C side as well. That's Dylan, who won an important 1v1 against Prestini. That will be D-capped. Will he get the full D-cap, though? I'm not sure, because the pinch is coming in now for Florida. The nades rain down as well. They'll reclaim C. B's still neutral.
And this is interesting. While C's actually being maintained by Florida, you see Rated. He can sniff something out. Mox is behind him on A, and as soon as that player makes the move, now the Ravens have to turn their attention. But Mox wins the first gunfight. Yes, he does fall, but that's just going to bring the Ravens player. Like, Scraps has to sit there and decap that A flag. That just gives Florida the pressure game towards the B flag.
A couple of players, small P1 for London, and then they can instantly now put pressure back over towards C. So a lot of pressure here on Mox to try and win at least one fight. Rated is still alive. Scraps can apply pressure over towards B. Now Florida's spawning over towards A. They may have to just really just deal with it, essentially, and just decap A and now make that their home hill.
And now Rated is going to be spawning these players out. They are spawning deep at A. They don't even get the mid-map P1 spawn out, so Rated, they'll be able to neutralize and cap this C flag, so the Ravens are successful with flipping sides, but either way, they came into this half down by about 20 points. We've been 2 minutes. They're still down by about 20 points. Yes, they're in a good situation, but Florida have repeatedly dealt with it. We might see the same thing once again.
And if you're Florida there, you would have loved to just be able to ignore A and just push straight back, take the fight back over towards BC, with a lead not big enough really to justify a play like that. And with 2.5 minutes left, this game is going to get very, very close again. But it is worth saying, when we saw this in the first half, what happened? Florida flick a switch, they get 4 down, and instantly flip the map. They get a trip cap for about 30 seconds, and the close game, all of a sudden, wasn't close at all.
And already we saw Dylan placing so much importance on backing up to keep the C spawn. He actually does let up mid-map just a little bit, and that's where Mox and the rest of his team have tried to go through. Now, granted, these players are one-shot, but they're being a little bit annoying, but nice little stabilization from the Ravens. It pays dividends, and still
close.
Just chipping away at that lead.
Oh, boy. Is this going to be another one of those games? Another nail-biter as you head into the final 60 seconds. London doing everything they can to stay in this game, led by Dylan. 20 and 17, his current stat line. Wuskin may seem slow, but he's doing the role that he needs to do at 14 and 9. Meanwhile, for Florida, things may start clicking soon. Keep your eye at the bottom of that minimap again. A player from Florida spawning P1. That's number 4. That's Prestini. He could be such a big playmaker. Can he do it again? His team needs something from him here. And he's producing the goods as well. The neutral on C could be massive. He's not gonna get it. B is now being hopped as well by Havoc. Surely London should be able to get there quick enough. I think he recognizes he can't hang around for long. And look at the score chance, 131, 129.
I think he could have. I think he could have actually just sat on the B flag there. He had a bit of an opening, and now Mox is gonna have to find a couple kills. Only gets 1, but the flag is neutral. The flag is secure from Florida. The Ravens, though, they strike right back. It's only Skies they have to deal with.
Well, see, your Skies here, you may just leave that and just try and overextend towards C. There's still a couple of players over towards B. Instead, he's trying to read the spawns. 137, 134. Oh, baby, here we go again. Is this going to be another crazy ending to a game of domination? Skies will fall. London, you've got to go. Time is of the essence. It's a 4-point lead currently for Florida. You need the decap B, and the kill feed is all London Royal Ravens. Dylan will fall on the hill. The trade should surely be there, though, but no. 3 players dropping. It's Prestini again with the double, saving Florida potentially when they need him the most.
We saw Dylan early going on a spree, putting up the numbers, but now Prestini leading the lobby at 24. You got Mox in the back at C, but now I got the Ravens trying to put pressure on it. Prestini gets dealt with.
And this is when it's going to get crazy. I think with 6 points, the difference is going to be too much. I don't think there's any way they can do it unless they lock in a trip cap very, very quickly. They're not going to be able to do it. And Florida Mutineers again come out clutch in a very, very close game. The double on B from Prestini at the end seals the deal. And now Florida go 2-1 up in the series.
And Prestini really is just playing like a god right now. The map number 1 was about as good as you could possibly ask for from him on St. Petro. Here, once again, apparently this is just his home on St. Peter Griffin, just hanging out, getting all the kills in the world. And it was another thing, even in the search and destroy, he was really the only player on his team putting up any sort of production. He was the one that had, I think, 4 of the 6 first bloods that they had. He was doing it with the sniper, so an MVP-like series currently for him.
I mean, 24-21, his final stat line. Skies, 21 and 15. On the other side, your production really came from Dylan, 24 and 22. Besides that, not much to shout about outside of maybe a poor game there for Scraps at 13 and 20.
And I mean, not just 24 kills from Prestini. Look at those 8 flag caps. I mean, you just love the objective play and domination, Ben, and he's bumping the numbers up. Only Rated kept up with him in that category, but either way, another solid performance from him all around. That was our key to success for the Florida Mutineers, I think, for us, is Prestini needs to perform. So far, he has been doing exactly that.
And it's worth mentioning, that's a map that we know London can perform on. They've obviously beaten Atlanta FaZe on that exact map as well. That was yesterday. We'll take a quick glance at some of the highlights, really, of that series. So coming in, we knew it was going to be close chance. We knew it was going to be a good game 3. And I guess overall, it didn't really disappoint. But I think many people may have actually favored London Royal Ravens in that map specifically.
We favored him overall, and of course, like if we go to the game number 5, it's another one of the repeat maps from the London Florida series that we saw yesterday. It was London that beat him 6-2, so maybe a little bit comfortable on that map. They also obviously just bullied him out in the first search and destroy, so this could very well be a situation where Florida does not want to see that game number 5. Obviously, London absolutely wants to see that game number 5 because, you know, you don't want to lose.
But they have to get there first, right?
They do have to get there
first.
And
then you talk about that game 4 hard point. Again, coming into this series, a lot of people probably would have favored London. And the reality is Florida came out hot, and that's mainly due to Prestini, to be completely honest. You mentioned it right at the very end. The MVP, without question, of this series is Prestini. He's performed very well in all respawns, performed well in Search and Destroy. Yes, the team didn't, but either way, we said it going into Game 3. He needs to continue that pace if Florida's going to take this series.
I was going to say, it's the exact same story, because last time these two teams played, it was London completely bullied them out in the hard points, so it'll take another top game like that. But of course, a lot of Call of Duty left to play, man. It's not just the current series we're dealing with. We got FaZe going against Røkkr, which I will say, that is definitely one of the teams you'll identify as the upset potential over FaZe Clan. That is going to be a banger of a series.
And the winner of this will play Huntsmen, and then we'll have our grand final around about 5 p.m. Eastern. Let's look at your Championship Sunday schedule presented by the U.S. Army. We still have a series on our hands, though, as Florida lead 2-1. Can they close it out, though, or will London potentially try and force the Game 5? Either way, it's going to be a long day of Call of Duty for every team still in the tournament.
Very long day of Call of Duty, and I will say, obviously we talked about all the hard points. Going to be in favor of the London Royal Ravens. Prestini says no the first map, but it was even yesterday.
He said hell no the first map.
Absolutely not. No, thank you. He pulled out his ring and just showed it to the other team and said, hey, boys.
Just listen, he caught it in the lights and it blinded London. That's what happened.
There you go. Cheeky little shots coming out from him. But either way, this was the one map we saw yesterday from Florida where they actually looked very, very strong on the hard point. Like, we watched them on Armaza. Yeah. They got smoked. Like, it was not even remotely close. And then we bounced back for the game number 4. The whole team started to pick it up. The whole team started to perform. Mox particularly played pretty well yesterday down at Hackney Yard. So if there was any map coming into today, I was going to be confident in the Mutineers on, it would be this one.
Of course, they took that Game 4 against OpTic Gaming LA late last night on this very game mode and map combination. But we'll kick things off with the man of the moment, as we rightfully should. It's going to be Prestini. Just to note, have the back in your mind, as I'm sure you're well aware now by the time we load into this game, how are you going to flip the spawns when you spawn on Florida's side? How will you put pressure on P2? You cannot give up too much time, otherwise you could potentially be down about 80 to 100 points in 2 hills.
I was going to say, we're not quite to the point of the year where we have enough like maps played where we can see exactly how favored like this spawn side is. It's going to turn into a thing where maybe like a 70-30% advantage. There's absolutely a good side, bad side, and that means Florida has a lot to deal with. As soon as you lose the break and you're on bad side, that's when things get worse. Now Jerk through the smoke is, well, shooting his teammates just a little bit, but either way, Ravens stabilized.
One thing Florida have been great at throughout the series, though, is spawn manipulation and flipping spawns when they need it. We've seen it in the respawns so far. Can we see it again? Well, so far, the answer is no. London have earned themselves 32 points on the first hill, which is a sizable amount, to be completely honest with you. Bear in mind, they can give up the scrap time if they want. They can still push. As Muskin slowly but surely climbs that ladder. He's one shot, wants to go for the reach out. Team kill will help. The final 7 seconds, the contest will be there. London will take it, and they still have spawn for P2. This is where the game gets scary.
And that's a great play from Dylan. A lot of times it can be risky to go for like flanks when there's only 10 seconds left on scrap, because you don't want to start spawning your teammates out. Not really going to happen on Hackney Yard from P1 to P2, so he goes on the flank, finds a couple kills, and that just puts Florida Mutineers so far back in their spawn. They have to hike across the map and then get like, what, a full 15 down just to be able to get into this new hill. So Ravens, they've done their job on P2. Unless one player can make a play,
I want to say it's Skies. They should be good to go. It's Mox, actually. Can he just quickly and sneakily get inside the hill? Well, he can, and London's going to have no idea how he did that. It's not going to be enough, or is it, to influence spawns? In fact, it is. So Florida spawn close, and P2, just like that, is broke.
And that's just simply someone didn't do their job. Mox got through. That should never happen. You got 5 guys on the map. At least 2 of them should be watching like the right cross. The other 3 should either be roaming or watching the left cross. So that is a massive play for the Florida Mutineers, because this game could have gotten out of hand pretty quick.
So that should have been about a 60-point lead. Instead, as we rotate towards the 3rd hill, it's going to be 20. That shows you the massive, massive difference. That really making sure no one sneaks behind and just locking down that 2nd hill. Fortunately enough for London Royal Ravens, they're now favorable points, at least for now, for the 3rd hill, but it's about getting that hill time. They need to make sure they're on top of things, and so far, great start from Dylan. 11-6, currently on a 3 streak, and he's in and around the hill.
Just hanging out, of course. Mox is on a 4 as well, so Mox made the play last time. He might have to do the same thing once again, because Dylan, he's been posted up, hanging out. He has found his new home. The smokes, though, were in. There's actually clearance towards the hill. Look at the kill feed. Actually, Florida, they just found all the kills at the exact same time. Mox didn't even have to do a thing.
Frosty, he will fall. As Prestini wants to try and hit that flank. I'll find 1. That's his 2nd this current life. And he's just so annoying to try and hunt down. He's so frustrating. Just when you think you have him, trapped in a corner. All of a sudden, he's shooting you in the back.
What a phenomenal play. He's actually got Mods watching his back. Like, that is generally one of the better plays. So many players, when they're one shot, they're happy to just take the gunfight. He does the smart thing, gets out of dodge, heals up just a little bit. And that's the second play we've seen from him like that in this series. Again, it can't be said enough. Brasini's been playing out of his mind.
Still currently on a 4 streak, I believe, as he hangs up one, flies over towards the hill, knows his teammate's going to need some assistance, and Prestini is not falling. That's 5 in a row now, as Dylan drops, and he recognizes, well, I probably can't make that play again. Is he going to read the presence over the wall? Probably not. Prestini falls. London back inside the hill to contest.
Nice job coming in. The Ravens trying to bump up this lead as much as possible. Rated playing cleanup crew inside the hill. Now he's the front man. Just gets shredded by Havoc. The headshot coming through, and still just getting traded back and forth, fighting for every bit of this scrap. I would assume eventually the Ravens should come out on top. Of Florida still sending a couple more bodies. Frosty again. Florida just doing a great job of being annoying because they know they have the better spawns.
That's the key, right? You can consistently put pressure when you know you have the spawns for the new hill, and that's exactly what Florida has done. And because of that, you may actually see a lead change before we head into the second rotation. It's really a key gunfight. It's going to be on that bottom side of that map. Number 5, I believe it's going to be Jerd, has the support of Scraps. Mox is going to be the first line of defense there for Florida, and Jerd will find that kill, but he's not going to find anything else. Hardpoint currently contested, but Rated has a ton of work to do. For now, at least, just stay alive if you can take one down with him. Best case scenario still, though, Florida in full control, and the lead change about to come in.
That's pretty great teamwork from Florida as well, just making sure that the right man is going to be the guy that challenges out the Rated. Either way, Dylan's somehow able to find his way to the hill, and that should be enough to break through. Jerd just needs to trade one, and the break is in for the final 20 points. So we've talked a lot about how great Florida has been playing, but again, just because of the spawn side, just the way this game starts, you just have a 40-point deficit you start from.
Bear in mind, it was London with that advantage. This time, going into the second rotation, it will be Florida. They currently possess the spawns for the second hill. How much pressure can they put as we rotate now into our second rotation? Well, they've won the initials. Luckily enough for London, Scraps is there to at least trade out, but he has to buy time now for his teammates to assist. He'll find 1, 2, hip fire, OP for Scraps. Havoc and Prestini both drop. Teammates there as well, but this is where it becomes so important, Chad. You cannot just sit and milk the hill. You have to push through. You have to put pressure on the right side of the map.
I mean, at the same time, though, if you get enough time here, you're just going to be in a fantastic spot. But Jerd does have an opening potentially to creep through, but as soon as he crosses that wall, it's going to be 4 players from Florida staring down on him. Even just finding 1 kill and being annoying is doing your job because you're helping your team secure these final 20 seconds. And now that your team is here, now you can go for the push.
The problem is Florida is still going to spawn close to P2, so for London, not only do you have to win one wave of gunfight, you essentially have to win 2. It's about buying time. Mox should fall quickly. Jerd and Dylan scrambling straight through. And Jerd again picking up kill after kill. Frosty there for trade. London still in a position to put pressure. They're blocking the P2 spawn for now. The stick comes through, so surely skies will fall. But Florida survive the push. London 189 to 117 of Florida. They still have the lead, but again, Chance, this is a crazy close game.
And someone's through. Someone's through. Number 5 has made it across. Jerd is somewhere where he might be able to make a play. You see the Royal Ravens have taken control over that right side push. But now they actually have to get inside the hill to be annoying. They're able to pick up quite a few kills, and now they have swarmed this hill. Havoc gets taken care of. Prestini is going to be one of the last men up for Florida, but already for the Ravens, I mean, this is job done. You can test for a few seconds. That's a happy P2.
20 seconds of scrap time. London will have to concede, or will they? Only one more go at it. Knowing that contesting can just be the difference, of course, between closing out a very, very close game. But now surely Florida have done enough. So it'll be about 194 to 160. Now as you rotate over towards our third hill, London, again, similar to what we had in our first rotation, will be in control of that at the start.
Wuskins is just big chilling. He's the man watching the cross, and you see him in the kill feed. He just picked up 2 more, so now Rated inside the hill. Just hearing the call-outs from Wuskins of like, hey guys, I just killed them all. Here's where they're going to spawn. Watch that side of the map. We'll be good to go. And again, Wuskins just goes on a tear. That's going to buy his team 20 points before things even begin to get dicey in this hill.
How much damage can London do? Wuskins finds Frosty. He knows the pressure's coming at the front side of the hill. Can he find the angle? Oh, Dylan's there to assist. He finds 2, stays alive, almost turned, and found Havoc as well. Wuskin still watching the cross. Frosty's going to be up top. Wuskin will find that kill as well. If Florida concede the final 20 seconds of time here, they're in a horrible, horrible spot in this match.
Wuskins again. He's just firing on all cylinders. He is just so clean at this game, but as you pointed out, still not over yet. It's a 50-point deficit, but it's not insurmountable. And Florida are inside the current hard point. They have decent clearance to the next one as well.
The initial fight here is going to be huge. This guy's going to have to find more than one, but Wuskin able to just delay that push more. Scraps, the twin brother inside the hill. He'll find one. There's the pressure now starting to mount for Florida. They need a break, and they need it quickly. Is that the break they so desperately desired? I think maybe Røkkr, who's had a pretty slow game, if we're honest, at 11 and 20. He may have to spring into life here as he's watching the push come through, the reinforcements, the cavalry from Florida, and he's not going to let them get there. Just 15 more points, and London force a game 5.
And Florida got to go. They got to go nice and quick. Havoc is the lone man from one end. Dylan trying to watch him. And Boards on the other. It's rated. He's able to find 2, but 3 bodies in lower offense, but they don't get a single kill in the Ravens. Put the stamp on the game.
250-171. London down in the series, not out. They will force a game number 5. And I mentioned it right at the very end. Rated by his standards a slow game, but right at the very end, the setup from London was perfect. Rated, I think he went on like a 6 streak toward the end of the game. A fantastic performance overall from London. And there is a quick glance at the stats. Wuskin 30 and 18, Dylan 30 and 29, Judd 28 and 21. Just a slaying prowess from London. Too much, gents.
And then rated again. Maybe not a ton of kills. 2 minutes inside the hill. That just
that's
means
also true,
he
yeah.
was the guy that on P2 just hanging out inside the hill had an easy job to do. Raves up from there.
Well, good comeback there in the series from London. We'll be back with a big game 5 straight after this.
One pump, one more. Nicky Romero! Goes for the shots. Molly's up. He tags him. Get on down, watch
Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool. Watch me groove, I move, I get so loose, I lose my cool.
Our first hype battle was one to remember. Definitely had some fun moments. Hopefully this one does not disappoint either. We'll have that a little bit later on in the day. But before that, of course, we have to finish out what has been a fantastic series. We're going the distance, a Game 5 search and destroy on the horizon for us. And one thing that we haven't really touched on here is what necessarily Florida, specifically Prestini, is playing for. I had a little think about this, and shout out to Maven, because he sent me a quick message. Potential that we could see those brothers playing against each other in a semi-final. So that may explain maybe why Prestini is going a little bit extra hard, if you will.
And I hope nothing more that if that happens, that there's just an absurd amount of trash talk from both. I want it to be the meanest trash talk we have ever seen in Call. That would make it so much fun for me, because obviously brothers, massive fans of each other.
Oh, they love
obviously
each other,
Alec is in the back somewhere rooting for his teammate, or at the very least screaming to play against him, just getting prepared. But that would be a fun one, because we don't get twin battles very often. Surprisingly, a lot in Call of Duty compared to everywhere else, because obviously Scraps and Wuskins split up for like 2 years before they got reunited. So we're not foreign to it, but it doesn't happen often.
Doesn't happen that much. You're absolutely right. So potentially we could have that a little bit later on in the day. Prestini has been absolutely outstanding throughout this whole series, and well, hopefully for him, he can have the same output he had in Game 2. He just needs his teammates maybe to, you know, get a couple of kills and assist.
Yeah, and then of course, like, just to give love to the other side, the Ravens, their storyline is maybe not battling twins. The twins are on the same team this time, but they just want revenge at trying to win a chip. Like, they had an opportunity where they were 2-0 up against the Empire back in London to see that grand finals and potentially get that win on home soil. They fall short there. Now they want that bounce back, that revenge. They want to have that same progression. They want to see that grand finals and get that dub back.
That's of course what they're playing for. As we wait for that Game 5 such and show to get underway, I believe we're going to Gun Runner as that map 4. Any interesting things stand out to you there, Chance?
They played yesterday. They played yesterday, and London beat him 6-2.
There you go.
It's like, it was a thing for me on Arklav Peak. We were actually saying Florida's looked pretty good on it. They've actually taken a couple wins. And of course, the Ravens were 0-2 on that map, and then the Ravens completely bullied them out. So now we go into a map where the Ravens have already gotten the win. We already know they're going to be feeling confident. And again, 6-2 is pretty convincing at that. If you're going to favor a team, maybe you pick them. But at the same time, now that the Florida Mutineers have seen it, now they know what they can expect, maybe the adjustments are going to come into effect.
Well, you'd hope so. They'd sit down late last night, I guess, and go over exactly what they want to try and get through into the pick and man process and adjust anything that needs adjusting. Which, I mean, if you're losing 6-2, it's probably a fair amount that you want to try and change up. But either way, Game 5 underway. London Royal Ravens, Florida Mutineers. And we're going to start off on board with Scraps. And of course, two of the brothers for London. As we switch over to his twin, it's going to be Wuskins with a sniper rifle, and Sky says, ha ha ha, no sniping today. That is doing your research, because that is exactly what Wuskins did all throughout yesterday to terrorize them on this map.
And Jerd's going to get traded out as well. This is a much nicer conversion coming in. Frosty wins a gunfight. His first kill and search in this series, Ben, which is nice to see. And Prestini, well, the lone man to fall, but Scraps the lone man for the Ravens on the map, and he'll be nice and loud. Now everyone on the planet knows where he's at.
You can know where he is. It doesn't matter. You'll find one, but the instant trade does come through. Florida off to a much better start.
Frosty's got me a little bit nervous. I'll just get that out of the way. I will say, all right, so a better storyline, non-Frosty related, was just the first bloods that we saw from the Arklav, right? Florida gets 6 of them. They lost 6 rounds, like 6-1 in first bloods, and you go 1-6, and like round count, terrible. This time, Skies is like, okay, so the first blood is great. Let's make sure we get the second blood as well and make sure we convert. But I will say Gun Runner is definitely more of a map where the first bloods are going to have more of an impact than Arklav.
For Florida. Back on the attack here in search. Skies, who started off strong in that first round. Looking for that first blood. First blood, though, comes for Prestini. He finds Jerd. Wuskins is able to respond, though, as he shuts down Skies. So 4v4 for now.
Domo just gets dropped immediately by Mox. Now the bomb does have coverage over to site. Prestini, again, his job is just to stay alive and let this bomb get planted. It goes down. Now he can back up. As long as he's alive, he can make a play late in the round.
And that's the key, just stay alive, right? Because now you know London have to deal with him. They know he's there, bomb planted, so it's about wasting time, if nothing else. And Scraps may just get the best timing in the world, and he does. Prestini falls. He's going to hate that when he watches that one back, but Mux defending the bomb. Wuskin drops as well. So Scraps and Rated now need to make the play. It's a 2v3 with 20 seconds on the clock. And I think Havoc has the information of exactly where Scraps is. He'll find that kill. Rated left for a 1v3. It's just not going to happen. Florida, where was this in game 2? Now with a 2-0 lead.
And again, I think first bloods are coming into effect, right? Like yesterday when they played this map, it was actually the Ravens that got 6 first bloods when they won 6-2. So I'd imagine they converted almost every single one of them, if not all of them. So far, it's 2 for 2 for the first bloods. Florida doing a very nice job. And again, on Arklov, you have so many different things going on the A site. You have snipers, people playing up aggressively. This is more of a map that as soon as you get the first blood, most of your teammates are going to be grouped up together, and it opens up a portion of the map. It makes it so much easier.
Well, London back on the attack. Seems like the initial push is going to come on the B side. Of course, for Florida, they read exactly what London was going to do in their first attacking round. Well, we have something similar here. Well, Prestini, sneaky little man, has found himself in a pretty good spot as he slow peeks the door. Scraps may actually be in some trouble here. Prestini gets the information. Scraps says, not today, I'm just going to shut that door. I want absolutely none of it. But this is the play from Prestini as he does hit the flank. Scraps was able to at least cook the nade and trade out that kill. So still a 4 versus 4.
Those exploding barrels hit hard, but with that bomb down again, Scraps just needs to stay alive. Wuskin's in the back of the map, just needs to stay alive. You can oversee the bomb forever.
It's just about staying alive and getting support for Wuskin, right? We've seen him hit those snipes, post-plant positioning. He's so good at it. The smokes are going to make it a little interesting. Skies, of course, does have some control. With 15 seconds left, if you're Wuskin here, you cannot die, but hitting that shot makes things a little easier. Frosty, he's been hunted down, and he's been found. London win their first round in the game 5.
And it can just be such an easy bomb site to defend as long as you're not massively down on numbers. So like, as soon as I think it was Havoc picks up the kill on Dylan up top, you think there might be a bit of an opening, and that man advantage could be enough that they could swarm the bomb site. As soon as Scraps gets that trade with the nade, you take down the one player, even up the odds. It just makes your job so clean, so easy. And again, Wuskin just sits in the back of the sniper. He has the easiest job in the world.
And the problem is, even if you save your utility, even if you save your smokes and you smoke out so Wuskin can't see it, he knows where the bomb has gone down. We saw him do it exactly the same thing in game 2. There could be smokes. He's still going to hit the shot. It doesn't matter.
He's hitting shots with or without the smokes. Havoc just gets dropped for the first blood. The headshot coming through. And now Florida, they have to stop in their tracks, and Dylan is well behind enemy lines.
And this is where Dylan could potentially find his first kill. And never mind, both him and Jared fall. Jared was able to at least find one, but that's 0-4, 1-4. And it leaves Scraps and Rated now for the 2 versus 3. Scraps makes it a 2v2, as Prestini does drop as well. For a round which started off so well for London Royal Ravens, it got a little scary. Potentially, Scraps and Rated can salvage the round themselves.
This is a good S&D round, 2v2, and well, both teams just rapping straight into each other. I hear no dead silences popped.
Frosty's loud. He's real loud, but more importantly, I think it's really that kill which could come through. Is it enough to bait out? Well, it is. Rated drops. Now it's a good old-fashioned 1v1. Scraps versus Frosty. Scraps does have dead silence. Frosty is on bomb. Scraps now with the information. Didn't see Frosty cross. How is he going to play this? Well, if you keep your eye on the minimap, so far, perfectly. Scraps doesn't win the fight. It's Frosty that gets it. You may not have felt too comfortable if you were a Florida fan with that 1v1, but it doesn't matter. Frosty, a great read. He finds the kill and gives Florida a 2-round advantage in the game 5.
And I'm pretty sure Frosty never saw him on the cross, so I think that's good instinct. I think he said, hey, it's been 10, 15 seconds. There's been no pressure from the front. The last time we saw Scraps was over by water, like in that little vent area. If he's not in front of me, he's got to be behind me. Makes the read. Makes a fantastic play.
Dylan absolutely must turn around his performance here in the game 5. 0-4. Jared as well. Mentioned that last round, 1-4. Frosty roll forward, Scraps with the first blood, Scraps with 2 actually. And more importantly, he's managed to get out with his life. There's the sniper fight you want to see. Prestini not able to hit it, but just there, surely. No, so close, yet so far. Skies though, meanwhile over towards the site, was able to find Dylan. 3 players for London, 3 players for Florida. And bomb down.
Scraps still trying to make a play. He's out behind the door. Depending on the timing, he will be behind every one of these Florida players. Now they're pushing forward, and again, Scraps, he's the guy that can just come up behind him.
I wonder where Wuskin is. Bomb goes down. Shock Horror covering the site with the sniper rifle, but Prestini's trying to counter it. This is such an important fight, and no, the hit marker just a little too low. It may buy you a little bit of time where Wuskin can't peek, but you have to use that time efficiently. You have to hop on the bomb, and Scraps is not going to allow that to happen for him. It's just about playing your life. Skies, they have him absolutely trapped. There's surely no way now Florida can win this round as London close the gap again. 3-2.
And he definitely needed a little bit of help, definitely needed Wuskins to hit at least one of those shots, but Scraps won him the round. You get the first blood straight away, you pick up the second blood straight away, and then he just goes and sits and showers the entire time. Florida never tried to clear it out, never tried to deal with him. He lets him go far enough past that they're not going to be able to hear him when he comes through the door. He waits for his teammates to start dealing with some action, and then he just blows right through. So Scraps, 11-4, only nice things to say.
Yeah, still an 0-5 though, third 1-5. Keep calling them out until they get a little bit more productivity out of this game 5. Frosty, after the abysmal game 2, 6-3 start for him as there we go, Dylan, first blood in his first kill as well. Prestini drops, Wuskin should have just spotted that player, but unfortunately for him, will not find the kill. But London do have that first blood.
Shout out Flinch for saving the life of a player Wuskin's had in his sights. Havoc up top, waiting for the pressure, all those nades coming in, should not connect with anything, the bomb is down. Havoc, the man to make the play. His shadow might be a dead giveaway though, but Mox has his cover.
Scraps up top. There's the first. 30 seconds. Gotta go quick. Sky's covering though. Rated will drop as well. Frosty finds Wuskin. The trades are surely there. Scraps now left on 1v1. We had it a few rounds ago. It's exactly the same. Will Frosty have the same outcome? No, he won't. Scraps wins the fight. Plenty of time to defuse. London Royal Ravens tie things up.
And by the end of it, Frosty just in a bad spot for the 1v1. He has no idea if Scraps is going to be able to hop the bomb, and instead of trying to cut through green and maybe get eyes on it, he goes all the way around up that little pit area, and he basically has to fly. You have no time. You got to sprint forward, and Scraps just makes the right read, wins the gunfight, and continues the Scraps destruction.
Just to touch on the first blood story, I know you were talking heavily about in game 2. Florida going into that round had a 3-1 first blood advantage, and 2 of those came from Prestini. So it tells you just how well he himself is playing. Yes, statistically it might not look as good. A 0.5 currently as he sits at 3-6, but the first bloods are there for Florida. But despite all that chance, we're all tied up, 3-3.
First blood story of the game, but now they might get another one. Frosty up top actually doesn't finish the kill on Dylan. It elects Havoc as the cleanup man. Meanwhile, Wuskins does win the sniper fight, so technical 4v4. First bloods don't really make too much of a difference this round.
As the game slows down just a bit, Havoc with some bad timing there. Scraps checks his corners and walks away with another important entry kill. So far, London have loved attacking the B site, mainly due to post-plant positioning from Wuskin, but Skies will find Jordan. He's done well to just scramble away, forcing Wuskin potentially out of his normal position just to try and help open up the map. But Skies has found Rated as well, which means, well, it was down to the twins. Wuskin drops as well. Scraps 1v3.
Scraps has been great. He has 14 kills to his name.
I mean, a 1v3 would be absolutely bonkers.
1v2.
Can he stay alive? Problem, time is against him. 20 seconds. Did he just spot Frosty Cross? I don't think he did. Unfortunately for him, with no dead silence, spot Skies. Oh no, not like this. Surely Florida. I was going to say, you could not let that go to a 1v1. Based off their positioning, he would have got away. Obviously, no time, I don't think, for him to flank, but you never know. You never know.
Florida stressed me out, too. Frosty almost gave it away, man. He could have just sat in water to watch the exact same cross. Technically, he was going to a better angle, but he was very close to making that a 1v1.
Timing, yeah.
Florida making me nervous, but they are up 4-3. I guess they don't even really have to deal with Scraps. If they just kill everyone else first, like, I suppose it's not a problem.
I mean, 15-5.
I suppose.
Scraps, he's having a great game, but again, needs some help here from his teammates. Desperate need of it. Florida on the attack.
Dude, I don't even know. He might not need help. Just need him to stay alive.
I guess, right? Just don't peek and fall. Wuskin has put the sniper rifle away this round. Opt for the assault rifle instead. Meanwhile, Florida more than happy to just play the waiting game. They'll get their dead silence, and then they might make the push. Havoc could be a key player in this round as he pushes through Cole. potential for the A flank. Meanwhile, Jerd also going to be key for London Royal Ravens in defending that B site. He slides forward. There's one. First blood comes in. Jerd so heavily tagged up, though. Has Frosty just right around the corner. In fact, 2 players. And unfortunately for Jerd, he's not going to check it. The knife comes out from Skies. The utter disrespect. And Skies finds 2. Skies finds 3. What an opening. Skies looking for number 4 as well. Dylan, in the blink of an eye, he had his teammates, and they all disappeared. Florida, match point. And they have 3 of them.
Guys with the gunny, but Havoc was the playmaker. Havoc, we called it out at the start of the round. As soon as he goes on that flank, he can just be the man that makes the plays. And the reason Skies got all those kills, well, 1, the shank is great. Do that in the smoke. That's very helpful. Happens a lot of time in smokes. Players just pull out their knife. It's a great idea, but either way, all those players on the Ravens turned their attention to Havoc on the flank, and it just made systematic cleanup kills for Skies, who almost is caught up to Scraps, which means you're doing great things.
15-5, he sits at. Great performance so far, but it's not over just yet. One more round needed here for Florida. London on the attack. They've gone for the very familiar setup. This one will be at the back. Betty has his sniper out, watching the B site. You cannot let the bomb get planted. Unfortunately, though, it has. The trades are in, though. Havoc has found 2. Scraps must play his life here. He is a huge factor to this strategy working, and unfortunately Scraps has dropped. Rated now needs to do just the same because it's only him and Wuskin up. It's a 2 versus 3. Rated has been pushed. Wuskin has fallen. Florida will take the game 5. London Royal Ravens fall, and that sets up what could be one of the most exciting games we're going to see this weekend. One of course, Prestini versus Arcites. The brothers against each other.
Who is the better twin? But I will say, just a phenomenal series. Florida, like yesterday, had a couple close maps. Now they're full steam ahead, Ben. They've been playing out of their minds.
You say, who's the better twin? I'm big fan of Arcites. He's a fantastic player, but if Prestini's playing like that, might be in some trouble.
It could be a force to be reckoned with. And again, Florida, they're a weird team, man. They have moments where they just don't look great on certain hardpoint maps, and then they have moments where they just blow the game out of the water. But either way, nice bounce back. Any map you lose to a team 6-2 on the day before, and you get that same map for a game number 5, to make those adjustments, to have the strategies, to figure out, hey, Wuskin's going to be the back every time. Let's figure out a smoke strat to block them off. Whatever it's going to take, they came up big, and Skies 14-6.
Wow.
Looking pretty good, Ben.
And a great turnaround for Frosty as well. So many times when you have a poor game 2, it can be a little tough to turn things around heading into a game 5. Well, he does just that. A very important 1v1 win as well, if you remember, against Scraps. He finishes 8-4. That's going to be everything from myself and Chance. We'll send it now down to the main stage with the man, the myth, the legend. It's Prestini.
Time for your instant reaction, brought to you by PlayStation. And first question, gotta ask, next series, who's your mom gonna be cheering for?
Both of us, that's all I can say.
That's going to be tricky, right? So how is it actually going to be to play against your brother in this next one? I've seen the tweets over the years. I remember when you guys came up together as well. I saw Alec tweet earlier, it's even harder to watch you play than to play himself. How does it actually feel when you go head-to-head?
You know, ever since we split, we've kind of trash-talked each other ever since it happened. So, you know, all of that building up to this moment, it's going to be fun. I'm gonna enjoy it a lot.
All right, well, let's talk about this series as well. We're very excited to actually see that one when it does come up. But what changed? This is a team that you've played against before. They've looked really strong in this tournament. How were you able to take them down?
Like I said in one of my interviews yesterday, we were just out of it. We were extremely exhausted, and the team yesterday, that was an amateur team. That wasn't us. So I think we got our stuff together today, and you know, it showed.
Yeah, I definitely think it did. I think as well, one more question. A lot of people on the desk were putting a lot of pressure on the side of Havoc, saying he needed to be the guy to step up. Do you think that's actually the key to success for your team, or do you think maybe it's a little bit different than that?
100%. I mean, online we play, and I'm kind of that guy that slays and, you know, does what I can on the map. And, you know, I'm really confident in my own gameplay. Just yesterday was a really bad day, and, you know, I kind of showed off a little bit what I could do.
All right, we know we can rely on all the members of this team. Florida looking great right now. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, we got plenty more Call of Duty.